Hello, welcome to my guide on how to build a house. I've tried to make this guide as in-depth as possible, but while trying to keep it quite short. So if there's anything you think I've missed or anything you don't know, please leave a comment and I will be sure to reply to you. I've left out any trivial details such as what things you will need to build a certain item in your house or the costs of specific rooms. You can find all that information in the links I've provided in the description. So I've broken this guide up into 4 different sections. First of all, the layout, which involves key room combinations and door optimization, the dungeon, general decoration, and any little extras you can add to your house at the end. There are some rooms that really should go together, like really should go together. Namely, if you ever plan to host a gilded altar or a lectern, you want the chapel and the study to be very close to your portal and have a glory teleport available. So here I've got a portal as just a starting point, then the quest tool should go diagonally in any direction just so you can fill in the gaps with the chapel and the study. Doesn't matter where they go as long as they make a square. That way when the player enters the portal they can go straight to the chapel and start using their bones, or they can go straight to the study and start making tabs or whatever, and they both have the same amount of distance to run in order to go to the glory teleport, which will be in the quest tool. Another key thing to consider is where you want to put your throne room and dungeon entrance, because chances are if you want a good dungeon you will have an oubliette below your throne room which can be linked up to the dungeon entrance underground underneath all your rooms. Whatever sort of crazy dungeon layout you want, make sure to design it as soon as possible, because when you come to build all the other rooms, everything might not work out as planned when it comes to door optimization, which I'll explain next. There are other little novelty combinations that you might want. They're not necessary, but they're quite nice. For example, having the dining room next to the kitchen, or having the bedrooms close together, because you'll need one bedroom for yourself and one bedroom for your butler. When you build a room, you'll see it has either 4 doors, 3 doors, 2 doors opposite to each other, 2 doors adjacent to each other, or just 1 door. Knowing how many doors the room you want to build has is very important, because the idea of having a good house is making it as connected as possible, meaning you want to be able to walk from one room to any other room around it. That's the ultimate goal. As you try to make the rooms as connected as possible, you'll find that naturally there'll be less doors leading outside, which sort of gives it more of a feel like a house. Now this may not be the best idea for you depending on if you've got some kooky house design that focuses on 20 gardens, I don't know. But personally, I think a house should have little doors leading to outside. And by making the rooms as connected as possible, you can get around much easier. So here is a list of all the rooms and how many doors they have. So 1 door rooms, I would suggest you put in the corners of your house. For example, my throne room and my costume room are literally at the opposite corners of my house, because with 1 door, you don't want them sort of in the middle of your house where there's going to be lots of other rooms around it. It'll just be impractical having rooms with several doors going around it, and lots of those doors will be wasted because this has only got 1 door that can be connected to it. I'm not sure what to do with the portal chamber because I don't have any, but the treasure room I put actually directly below my costume room, so it's also in the corner of my house but underground, and I would most certainly suggest that the treasure room should be the last thing at the end of your dungeon, because that's where you can stick a big boss. Rooms with 2 adjacent doors, again I'd aim to put them in corners if you can. 2 opposite doors, put it on a straight, and then 3 and 4 doors you have a lot more leeway. So I would design where to put the 1 and 2 door places, and then the 3 and 4 doors can be used to fill in the gaps. Maybe if you've got a big cluster of rooms, stick the 4 doors in the middle. That might be an option, because then you can get access to that anywhere you want. So here's another example of 3 rooms that aren't connected, and this is what you should try to avoid at all costs. You can't do it with every single room, like it won't be possible to make everything connected, but you want to get as many connected things as possible. so you can run from one room to another directly most of the time. In order to build a dungeon, you either need a dungeon entrance in a garden or formal garden, or you need an oubliette below your throne room, or both. I'd suggest both because it's pretty cool to have both, because you have two ways to access a dungeon and two ways to kill your friends. The dungeon is probably the most customizable set of rooms you can have in your whole house. You can choose which direction to go in, which monsters you want in each individual room, even how you want to decorate it. So there's so many different things that you could choose to do. One thing I suggest is putting your oubliettes below the throne room. That's pretty much a given. So you have a trapdoor that drops below into, well, I have a fiery pit. Some people, you can get like monsters, spikes, various different things. And when it comes to building a dungeon, it's really up to you what you want to do. I've gone for a difficulty curve. You'll see that there's low level monsters, and each monster gradually gets harder and harder to kill, from skeletons up to hellhounds, and then finish with a steel dragon. I've seen someone's house where they've got a troll in literally every single room. He's got about 20 or 30 dungeon rooms. It's ridiculous, with a troll in every single one. So you could do something like that. I also know someone who just has 4 steel dragons or something similar at the dungeon entrance, so that's pretty destructive. If you're looking to build a house something like mine, you're looking at spending around 100 mil. Most of the money went into gold leaves, magic stones, marble blocks, things like that. So of course you can make a fantastic looking house and not spend unnecessary amounts of money. For example, you could go for an oak, teak or mahogany theme, various ways. It's all down to how much you want to actually spend on your house. So I've just gone for maxed out house pretty much, just bought the most expensive thing possible, with a few exceptions such as the rocking chair I'm sitting on, because they're pretty cool. The other two are mahogany, so that's alright. Little things to be aware of. You'll see me looking at windows. Windows only tend to work when they're looking outside, so those are just little things that I wanted to happen, having my windows actually facing outside. And the telescope had a use in RuneScape 3 for the shooting stars things or whatever, which would only work when it's looking outside, so if that gets updated, who knows. If you have a crest, your logo will appear on various decorations around the house, namely the dining room, the throne room and the treasure room. I think there might be more, I can't really remember. One final thing to be aware of is your room limits. You have a limited number of rooms you can build depending on your construction level, so if you don't plan to get 99, there will be restrictions on how many rooms you can build, so be sure to take that into account when planning your house. So if you're sat there thinking, I don't care, what's the point in designing my house like this, you should firstly ask yourself, why have you watched a video this far in? And secondly, wake up sheeple, look at this shit, look how many things you can store in your house. This is just one room, the costume room. You can store literally hundreds of things in your house. It's a lifesaver. My bank's pretty much full. I don't know what I'd do without this thing. You can collect tools for free from the walls of your house. All sorts of things. Oh no, I need to go to Baroque to change my clothes. No you don't. Stay here in your house. You can change your clothes to whatever you want. You can even change your hair if you wanted. You can just sit down, make a cup of tea in the comfort of your own home. That's fantastic. Have a beer, whatever you want. Buying glory charge 10k? No, shut up. Just get one in your house. Look how good that is. Look at all these motherfucking cats I have. They were dying in my bank, now they're free. And if after all that you still can't bother to design a good house, just use mine. Just go for it. I don't mind. FG stands for formal garden, and as you can see I've got 3 of them, and the green lines are the doors that are connected to other rooms. Here's my dungeon as well, why not? Everything is colour coded. As I said before, there's a difficulty curve, so it goes from oak, steel to marble doors, and the monsters get progressively harder. And in terms of skull, torch and candle decorations, I've just sort of gone for a big variety wherever I felt like it. So that's the end of my guide. Hope you enjoyed it, hope you found it helpful. If I've missed anything out, which I very probably have, leave a comment. Any questions, leave a comment, stuff like that. Yeah, great. Cheers. See ya.